All right, welcome everyone. Thanks for tuning in to our first Ask Me Anything of the season. My name is Joe. I'm one of the admissions counselors here. So tonight you can send in questions to us by using the chat function at the right of the video. You can email us at askastudent@goucher.edu on the 2024 Facebook page, or you can text at 410-469-8243. So a lot of options. Tonight, I've got two current students here. Would you guys care to introduce yourselves?
My name's Evan. I am a sophomore from Southwest Colorado. I'm a history major, and I'm an RA on campus as well as an admissions ambassador.
Hey guys, my name is Yu Chen. I'm a sophomore, international student from China. I'm the Goucher Student Government President, and I used to work at the admissions office.
Great. Yeah, so to get us started off, I'd love to hear from you guys. Why did you choose Goucher?
So for me, the study abroad program was really the number one thing that hammered down my decision to Goucher. I really, really love the fact that the school is so committed and every student is required to go abroad. I think it speaks a lot of the school's value. And when I got here, the social justice atmosphere was something that also attracted me a lot and pushed me to stay. So yeah, that's pretty much my reason.
So when I was looking at colleges of my senior year of high school, I was looking at liberal arts schools on the East Coast, small liberal arts schools specifically, and you'd be surprised how little that does to actually narrow it down. So it was really, in terms of why Goucher over the other ones I was looking at, it had a lot to do with location, and being in Baltimore, being in Maryland was something I was really interested in, and it had a lot to do with how the college approached things in an innovative and fresh way with things like study abroad, and creative and innovative curriculum was a big thing. So yeah.
Great. Yeah, those are some popular ones I hear from students on our travels too, so thanks for that. All right, so we'll take some questions in here now. Layla is asking, what are the health services like? So I guess you guys can answer that by, not just your experience, but how supported do you feel on campus in general?
Yeah, so we do have a health center on campus. They open from 9 to 5 weekdays. They are, I think, usually accessible by appointments. Really great people who work there. They also have a masseuse there that you can make appointments with.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we do have a masseuse. Yeah, and if you have the Goucher insurance, it's free. So definitely take advantage of that if you do come here. So.
Yeah, and outside of the health center, there's a number of different mental health specialists on campus that do things like acupuncture, and physical therapists for sports players.
Excellent.
Yeah, we also have a wellness center, just to mention, and there's a lot of really interesting stuff in there to help students adjust to wellness and just to cope at the end of the day from classes. And there's fun stuff there like face mask stations, there's tea and mugs, there's like the oil diffuser stuff. It's just a really relaxing atmosphere, and I love it. But yeah,
I didn't know they did all those add-ons. Actually, I got to stop by.
Yeah, you definitely should. It's a great center.
Yeah, one of the things I'm usually talking to students about is the emotional adjustment to college as well. So it's nice to have that in your back pocket. So another question we're also receiving, is it hard to have a double major or a minor? I don't know, do either of you guys have a double?
Yeah, I'm a triple major.
Oh, triple.
Yes, as of right now. So I'm studying international relations, political science, and economics. And it does get a little bit overwhelming from time to time, but I do have 3 advisors from all of the 3 different majors I'm doing, and they really do help me keep on track. They do keep me on track of what classes I'm supposed to take, and they check in with me from time to time to see if I'm overwhelming myself, which is really appreciated and needed. So yeah, I wouldn't say that it's very hard or impossible to double major. I actually do encourage people taking up the option because I think it really enriches your academic life in that way.
You also get advisors for minors as well. So I'm a history major, but I have a literary studies minor. And so I have, like you said, an advisor that'll help out with that. I will say it can depend on the program. We find that Sometimes the STEM programs are a little bit more
Sure.
rigorous. There's a little bit less wiggle room. But for the humanities, it's really easy to add on minors, and you'll often find that you're already kind of going down that path. Like I was just taking literature classes, and then I was like, oh wow, I have this many credits. I might as well just kind of commit to it and keep going forward.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say, that's definitely one of the pluses of a liberal arts school. And I feel like every student I've talked to, if they don't have a second concentration or major, they're being guided towards that as well, and they might as well jump into that. That actually leads right into the next question we have posted here. How easy or hard is it to change your mind about a major if need be?
Really, really easy.
Yeah.
All you need to do is fill out a form, and you're either declared or dropped. So yeah.
Yeah. So I think the important part to add to that is that there's a lot of guidance towards that through the process. It's not like you're just figuring this out one day, right? But that's probably a result of ongoing conversations you've had with your advisors, I would imagine.
Absolutely.
And you also don't need to declare until your sophomore year.
That's right.
So it's really, you have a lot of time to figure things out. I came in thinking I was going to be a political science major, and then kind of shifted away. And and because it's a liberal arts education, there is room to experiment and kind of go to other places.
Yeah, because most we see each year coming in is undecided. It's our most popular major every year, right? So I think they enjoy that exploration as well. So moving ahead, Olivia's asking, what are the graduation requirements in terms of courses? And I can jump in on that too, but in terms of your experiences, go ahead.
So it obviously depends on major. There are some things that are standard across the board. It's 120 credits to graduate, which each course is 4 credits. So I'm not a math major, so it works out to something though.
You usually have a little flex in the end of that as well.
Yeah, you do. Because you can take anywhere from 12 to 18 credits each semester.
Right.
12 is the minimum, and any more than 18 you have to petition for. So that's kind of one thing. There's a foreign language requirement that, depending on where you're testing into, can be anywhere from 8 to 10 credits, depending. What else is there?
There's the writing ones as well, the sweeping writing requirements. So every student, regardless of their major, is going to take, I believe it's at least 3 classes in writing. Some will be general, some will be catering towards your major, and then math as well. So, or data analytics, as we say, always on campus, right?
Right. And we do have the CPE courses.
Yeah, those are pretty interesting. Would you want to touch on those?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm taking a CPE class right now. It's about migrant and immigration justice.
Okay.
And it's something I'm really interested in. It doesn't really traditionally fall under any discipline, but this is more of an action-oriented class, and the professor is pretty much teaching us how to be an activist and how to protest and get our message out there, which I think is super interesting. And CPE classes are designed for students to step out of their comfort zone and really explore some academic fields that they haven't really touched on before. But I really love my CPE class this semester. And
CPE courses are, and correct me if I'm wrong, because they've changed the acronym recently. Are they complex problem exploration?
Yes.
Okay.
That was the change.
Yeah.
What it was towards.
So they used to be center pair exploration courses, and now they're complex problem exploration courses. And essentially what they do is mix a few different disciplines together to kind of cover those general education requirements. A good example is our disease and discrimination class, which focuses on the actual, biology of disease, as well of HIV/AIDS and diabetes specifically. It focuses on their biology as well as the social impact that they have in different communities. So it kind of mixes, the social sciences with hard sciences, and that makes it less daunting for somebody like me. I'm in a genetics class right now, and I'm not a science person, but it has a lot to do with ethics and kind of where genetics are moving. So it makes it a little bit more manageable.
That's a much more interesting approach, I would think, too.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
And there's also the study abroad requirement, just to
Yes.
finish. And there's a number of ways you can cover that. I'm doing an intensive course abroad this summer, which is 3 weeks. That covers it. You can do a full semester abroad. Some people even do 2 semesters abroad if you can swing it. So,
And the intensive course abroad does count towards a credit. It's a 4-credit course because I'm going on one too. So I'm super excited. But yeah, answers the question, I hope.
Yeah, to clarify, the study abroad for us is a graduation requirement, so that might not be class linked, but you're going to go somewhere if you go to Goucher, which is fun. So that way is paved for you. The next question we have here, students asking, I take college courses as a high school student, will they transfer? I don't know if you guys had courses transfer in, but I can answer this as the admissions person. So yes, if you are taking advanced place courses or you're in an IB curriculum, and if you get usually higher scores on those tests, you can go to the website and they have a listing of 3, 4s, or 5s for any of those test scores. Those will usually come in to count for us. They just have to go through our registrar's office. Sometimes students will be in like AP stats and then want to major in something related to that. We would still have you take all the courses of your major, but that credit will show up elsewhere for freeing up an elective or something towards the 120 credits. So that is the long answer, but the short answer is yes. That's pretty common. So we love to see that on a transcript as well. Next question, Mitch, what's the political climate like? That's a good one.
Yeah.
you probably be better to answer this.
I will say Goucher is a relatively liberal school, being a liberal arts college. And since we are a very social justice oriented school, it's built into our curriculum. It's very much built into our culture as well. And the fact that people here respect one another and allow space for each other to grow, and as well as have dissents and the expression of different opinion, it's really awesome. So yeah, I wouldn't say that if you're conservative, don't come here. You're absolutely encouraged to come here because here we love discussions. We love talking about our differences and celebrating it. And but yeah, that would be my answer for this question.
Definitely. Yeah, that's well said. Yeah, I would say most of the students I'm having a conversation with coming in to Goucher are really, eager to apply what they're learning in the classroom off campus for the betterment of others, and whatever the political affiliations might be. That's, I feel like, the core. If you guys would agree with that, not to put words in your mouth.
No, yeah.
But that's been a conversation I often have, especially this year. Julianette is asking, what's the exact tuition and fees without room and board? So that is $47,000 with the tuition and fees without room and board. Again, if you apply and you're admitted to Goucher, you'll automatically have the breakdown of all the costs of attendance. I can say, just to go off of this, as a small private school, the sticker price might look high from the outside, but it's nearly all students receive some amount of financial aid. I believe it's about 97%. The average of which is above half. So, on average, students are actually paying the minority of those costs. So I talked to a lot of students, and I don't know if you had this experience at a college fair or something like that. You see a sticker price that might seem like a restriction, but then once you've applied and you get that information back, it's usually looking quite different. Was that process easy for you guys to navigate?
Yeah, I would say it's very easy for me. And as an international student, I really wasn't expecting to receive any money from any school. And I was really surprised and happy at the same time. Goucher offered me scholarship. And that's one of the big reasons I'm here. And I know a lot of students on this campus are receiving some type of financial support. And Goucher is very committed to offering education to people from all socioeconomic backgrounds. So yeah, I think it's super awesome that they're doing this. And I would say that a Goucher education is relatively accessible.
I'd agree with that. And I'd also emphasize that there's a number of different kinds of scholarships you can get. There's, of course, financial aid, which, like you said, almost everybody gets, and it makes it super reasonable, even more so than, for me, more so than going to a state school would have been. But beyond that, there's scholarships specific to things like dance. There's scholarships. I had a scholarship my first semester for civic engagement that I got. So yeah, so there's a lot of different ways to kind of knock that price down.
Great. Yeah, so next question here. Anthony is asking, out of 100% how much scheduling work do the students do? And are there resources to help time management? So I guess that would read, how much of your time is spent towards scheduling your work, the work-life balance here. You guys can start with that in your experience.
Go ahead.
I mean, people, have different kind of backgrounds and experiences from high school that make time management and scheduling different. And, some people have different capabilities with that. I know I scheduled a lot of my own things when I was in high school. So when I got here, it was pretty easy to kind of schedule my classes, my work shifts, things like that. So I'd say I do pretty much all of my own scheduling, and I think most people do. There are resources to help with time management, like we were talking about in terms of academics. You do have an advisor even before you declare your major. You have a pre-major advisor that'll help you coordinate, work schedules with your classes, any clubs you're in, things like that. So, yeah.
Yeah, and also very much depends on like what type of involvement you have on campus. Yeah, like if you run a club, if you're part of the student government, if you play a sports, your schedule is going to look very different. And yeah, I would say that a lot of the times it's really depending on you, and you have the agency of creating your own schedule, because being in college, it's completely different from being in high school, and you pretty much have 100% freedom of your time. So yeah, it really depends on what you want to do and how much commitment you're willing to put towards this stuff.
Yeah, because time management's a big one, unlike high school, like you were saying, it's not just in a block. But I would say usually students can sometimes be, the pitfall will be having too much time as well. So, that time management is a big one, jumping in. Great. Okay, that's a good question. Jonah, how much is laundry to do on campus? I don't actually know that at all.
Zero.
Yeah.
Goucher has free laundry. So yeah, you don't have to pay anything to wash your clothes.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that in your dorm buildings directly?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where do you live?
I live in Welsh, the language house.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Yeah. So I mean, Welsh is primarily upperclassmen, suite and apartment living. I'm an RA in the first year village, and both of them, it's free. There's washers and dryers on site. You have to buy your own detergent, but that pretty much makes sense. And by the way, when I say I'm an RA, I mean I'm a residential assistant. So I work for the Office of Residential Life as somebody that is kind of a point person in a hall or in a building to do things like coordinate activities, coordinate like quiet hours, hall events, things like that. If there's any conflicts, I'm usually the first one there, things like that.
Nice. Yep. So it's important to be in touch with your RAs, definitely. Okay, Maddie is asking, how would you describe the social life at Goucher? I feel like we touched on this a little bit, but we can go into more depth here.
I think, well, for me personally speaking, it has been incredibly easy to make friends at Goucher. I feel like Goucher just attracts a very specific niche of students who are super friendly and outgoing. And yeah, I remember being lost my first day, and people were just coming up to me asking if I need help, which is something I wasn't expecting going to college, because the image I have of college is everybody just doing their own thing, going their own way. Nobody's going to pay attention to you. But here, it seems like there's a real sense of community, and people actually care about one another. And yeah, it has been really great making a lot of amazing friends. Yeah, I had a really good experience socially here.
There's also a lot of student organized activities and events. Sometimes they're affiliated with clubs. Sometimes it's just people getting together. I mean, there's everything from Dungeons and Dragons groups on campus to I'm part of a club called the Goucher Independent Music Club that operates entirely independent and will book off-campus bands to come on campus and play different venues. We'll usually get like 2 to 4 bands each time, and those are great events. There's just a lot of student organized art, student organized social activities that people really get into. Yeah.
I'd say the atmosphere has a very relaxed kind of vibe to it, which I think is pretty relevant for students coming to campus just on the tour. I don't know if you guys had that time when you were touring campus and got a sense of that, but if you can visit our campus, I feel like you get a sense of that just from an out tour. So another related question to this, Noah's asking, let's see, what is the dorm situation like? How involved is Greek life in the social scene? So we can start with the dorm situation. You guys are the ones to ask for that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So when you're coming in as a first year or a transfer student, you will be most likely placed in the first year village, which is exactly what the name is. All the first years living together, which when I was living there, I thought it was great because all my friends lived down the hall from me and I can just go and knock on their doors and they will be there. And it really did help our class bond. I don't know if you had a similar experience, but I definitely think that it really helped unite the class of 2022 and really because we were all going through the same thing, right? Like transitioning from high school into college and being there for each other was a really good support system that I had. So yeah, that's for the first year village. Right now I'm living in Welsh Hall, which specifically the language house. So we have these special interest dorm, we call it on campus. So language house being one of them. We also have a Black student affinity house. We also have a music and art house and healthy living house as well. So there's a lot of different options. If you are interested, you can, yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a little bit of something for everybody.
Right.
So, yeah.
No, I mean, pretty much just emphasizing all that. Yeah, they're active, I'd say.
Yeah.
I've been to college campuses where it feels like the dorms themselves kind of feel like abandoned almost.
Oh, yeah.
But you'll be, walking around and seeing people and, there will be, events going on in the common rooms
Right.
and things like that.
And as an RA, I don't know if you have you put on any recently?
Yeah, so not this semester yet, but I mean, last semester, me and the other RA on my hall, we put together like a mixer with mocktails. We've done like collage nights. I'm doing a movie night this semester. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, and keep in mind the first year village is pretty much brand new. So if you're to come to Goucher for this class, you'd be one of the first classes to live in there. I don't know if you guys have used the demonstration kitchen yet, but that's a fun. That's nicer than my house. It's a beautiful kitchen. To go off that, how involved is Greek life in the social scene?
So we actually don't have Greek life on campus, and that's one of the big reasons why I chose Goucher as well. But yeah, I would say that the Greek life has 0 to no present on this campus. But yeah.
Yeah, and we kind of Greek life, I think at some other schools fills a role of like school pride and community that we kind of express a little bit different at Goucher. We don't have a football team, we don't have Greek life, but that being said, we do have like student organized concerts, and we have student organized plays and things like that. There's a lot of things centered around the arts and hobbies, and yeah, I think it's definitely unique. I mean, even tonight we have a speaker in our dining hall, Ajamu Baraka, and I mean, there are people rallying totally. I mean, they
I
love
was
it.
just there. And he's an awesome speaker. He ran for the Green Party candidate.
Yeah, 2016.
Yeah, and I really wouldn't say that the campus not having Greek life makes a big difference because our sense of community is celebrated a little differently compared to schools with Greek life, if you will agree with me. But yeah.
Yeah, it seems to be more about what individual students or groups want to do semester to semester, I would say.
Yeah.
So that kind of fits as well. Yeah. The next question we have here, what is the relationship like between students and staff? And I'll actually extend that to faculty as well. So you guys can talk about your experience so far with staff and faculty.
So I walk around and I see people I know who are staff all the time, and I know them by their first name. I say hi to them. Actually, the other day, Miss Tanya, she's the lady that cleans the library. We were talking about how I always lose my AirPods because I have a really big puffy jacket and it has a hood. So when I like put it on or take it off, the jacket hood will bring it off. And she like remembered this conversation and she went out and bought these little strings for me that would attach my AirPods together. And that was like,
they used to have cords.
yeah, I know. It's a little bit backward,
Yeah.
but it was sweet that she did that
They
for
should
me.
start making those with cords.
Right.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's great.
Right. But no, like I would say that it's really easy to have a great relationship with staff because you see them all the time, and many people here, many staff have been here for decades. Honestly, like there's a few people who work in campus safety that have been here for many, many years. And
Yeah.
students know them by their first name, and the students know their story, and we're all one happy community. It just feels like. But yeah. What's your
Yeah, no, I
experience?
agree. There's tons of faculty like with campus safety that I say hi to when I see them, and they're great. But for me, it's specifically been professors actually, because we have such a small professor to student ratio. Because of that, you get these really great bonds with your professors. I said I had a literary studies minor, and I only have that because I kept taking classes with this professor I really like, Professor Marchand, and she's great, yeah. And it seriously, I took so many that I was like, I might as well just declare the minor. And same with the history program. They're great, they're involved, and they want to see you do well. They're accessible. And I'm on a first name basis with many of them. I feel really weird saying
Yeah,
Professor
no,
Marchand.
yeah. Mhm. Yeah, and from an administrative point of view, we've actually found that more than anything, the metric for success for our students is if they have a mentor, if they utilize those bonds on campus than anything else. So, and if I can say for a staff member myself, it's really fun having, proximity with student workers in the office and whatnot, because you guys always come in with stories or something you learned in class that I don't know about. So it's a fun community, definitely. Next, Max is asking, how accepting do you feel the student community at Goucher is? What is the best way to meet people and make friends? Jump right into that.
Yeah, sure. I will say that Goucher's community is very open-minded and very accepting. People here come from literally all backgrounds and all socioeconomic classes. And it's really interesting because you get to meet new people all the time and you learn things from them that you just didn't think that you would learn on a campus like this. But yeah, I would say that Goucher is a very open community. We really look out for one another, which is something I am really here for. And I'm really glad to be here. And I think Goucher is awesome.
Yeah, I agree. And in terms of what the best way to make new friends is, at least I found for me that, my first semester, and it kind of stays true, it's been getting out and doing things.
Right.
A good example is I met some of my best friends at a trivia night my first semester. They're about to graduate, which will be really sad, but I mean, they've been like some of my best friends for almost 2 years now. So, and it's all because I went to a trivia night.
Yeah, we have a student engagement team on campus. They set up a lot of student-centered events like movie nights and the trivia night that you were talking about. And they also have events like open mic that people show up to, and people sing, read poetry. Yeah, and it's exactly like what you said. You get out and bam, you have a bunch of friends. Yeah, it's magical.
Yeah, and actually that's why, getting out of your room, I really like that response as well, because that's what the first year village is meant to do. I don't know if you guys are aware, so that's why we have you in doubles. That's why we have more active space in the lounges. We found that those first years utilizing that have better bonds to the rest of the 4 years, which is kind of cool to see. Yeah, the next question we have here, what do people usually get out of Goucher in terms of jobs, internships, etc.? I'll start with you guys and I can jump in. Do you know students who've graduated, or have you leveraged resources here towards what you're going to be doing in the future?
Yeah, well, I think that through the 4 years that you're here, you have so much support from professors and faculty that you create really great bonds that extend outwards after you graduate. Goucher has a really vibrant and robust alumni network. We, are constantly inviting alumni from from different fields to give talks to, that's something that the career education office coordinates. And so in terms of Goucher, coordinating internships, coordinating meeting different alumni, you're at the end of your 4 years, you have what we call the Goucher Advantage, which is something that's kind of, interspersed within your 4 years here that by the time you graduate, you have a really solid trajectory, I'd say.
Yeah, and I would definitely agree with everything you have just said. And I really do appreciate the fact that our career education office built like the career track into the curriculum. Like when we, all the first years to have to take a writing course, writing 181, and that they invite people from the career education office to come in and do lessons about how to write a resume, how to do a cover letter. The purpose of them building the preparation into curriculum is that, that you don't freak out by your senior year and you scratch your head. You're like, oh my God, I'm about to graduate. What do I do with my life? So yeah, they do prepare you literally from the start, and they build you up so you feel like you're ready when you're on your way out. So,
yeah, we actually used to be voluntary. It wasn't built into the classes, so we found students were doing that at the end of their senior year,
right?
Which is not the time to start.
Right.
So that'll be, like you said, woven in through your 4 years. So yeah, you can come and see our career education office as well, getting a resume together, practicing interviewing. I don't know if you guys have ever had to do a phone interview before. That's one thing they practice over there because that's a very daunting thing to do. So it's nice to hash that out before you've actually graduated and are on the line. And you can still use those resources after you've graduated. So you guys keep that in mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The next question we have up here. What's your favorite thing about Goucher? What would you change or improve at Goucher? It's a good question.
Yeah, you want to go first? Think about this one.
Yeah, I it sounds broad, but I think the community would be my favorite thing about Goucher. How close knit it is, how I can walk to class and see, a dozen people I know walking around, and it just makes my day a whole lot better. To know that everybody's so close, I can, text somebody and take a 2-minute walk to their room, and we can hang out. And the size of the campus, the how close knit the community is, has really been something that I've enjoyed getting to know and getting to explore. And in terms of what I would improve or change, I think, and maybe this isn't Goucher's fault, but I think it's really easy to get very comfortable on Goucher's campus.
That's true.
To the point where sometimes like 2 weeks will go by and I realize I haven't left.
Yeah.
So
it's a big campus.
Yeah. And there's definitely resources to be able to get off campus. We have a shuttle that runs between us and 4 different colleges. And so there are those things, but I just kind of forget about them, and I forget to get off campus. So I would say that something I improve would be maybe a little bit more of a kind of dynamic of coming and going, which I know that's contradictory to what I just said, but
no, that's fair. That's fair. The Goucher campus bubble, that's a real thing, definitely. But we're next to Baltimore, so you have that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so you kind of stole my answer for my favorite part of Goucher. I really do enjoy like the closeness of the community and the fact that faculty, the professors offer so much support to the students. Like my professors are literally helping me find an internship for the summer, which is awesome. Like we address each other by the same name basis. They have helped me through hard times academically and mentally on this campus, which is not something I thought I would receive from a professor. This is not just like one singular person. I've talked to a lot of students and they all have that 1 or 2 or 3 or many professors that have offered them help and give them that push along the way. And in terms of what I would improve about Goucher, and this is my student government talking, it's the transparency between administration to students. I think there's always room for improvement, and that's what we've been fighting for as student government. And this is not a problem that's just unique to Goucher. I've actually heard from people who go to a larger institution that we compared to then are very, very transparent.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
we're very lucky to have that.
Again, voucher bubble.
Yeah,
It's-
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, yeah, exactly what you both just said, that you kind of lose touch of what other institutions are doing. And
Right.
yeah, sometimes I feel lucky I'm inside this bubble. But yeah, transparency is something I always push for. So
That's a good one.
yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
to go off of what you both said about the community, I would say there's something about just the type of person Goucher attracts, it
Mhm.
seems, that makes it a really enjoyable community. Because every student I talk to has something they can just talk my ear off about for an afternoon. They're a very passionate bunch.
Yeah.
So I've enjoyed that a lot as a staff member anyway. Moving ahead, next question up, was there ever a class that you could not take for any reason? So yeah, I don't know if you guys have run into restriction of the class not being offered yet for spring or fall.
I actually it's a funny story because I just encountered this thing, and it was that I wanted to get into this 300 level history class for this semester, and professors are super flexible. I even emailed the professor before, and I was like, hey, even if this class fills up before I'm able to register for it, because upperclassmen do have priority because they have things they need to take care of before they graduate. I was like, even if it fills up with upperclassmen, can I please take it? And he emailed back and he's like, Evan, I'm really sorry, but there are so many people that need to take this class. And so that was disappointing, but there's tons of other classes and stuff, and it all ended up really well because he emailed me at the beginning of the semester and was like, somebody just dropped the class, so if you want to take it, please let me know. And so now I'm in the class. So yeah, there are definitely restrictions, and like I said, upperclassmen have priority, but there's something to be said for what professors will do. I mean, go out of his way to email me because somebody dropped the last one. To be honest, that was probably something I should have been looking for. But
Well, it pays off, like you were saying earlier, the professional relationship you have with faculty and networking. I mean, that's one of the benefits right there. So that's cool. I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah,
I thought that was a sad story.
No, yeah.
But it came around. Okay. Cool.
Yeah, and I don't have any experience with not getting into any class. I've taken all the classes I'm taking right now is what I wanted. So
Oh, okay.
yeah, good
So
semester.
you're all set for now.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I
Very
have
happy.
actually heard some faculty saying that if seniors need something seriously towards graduation, they will open up a new offering of that. I heard there was a spring offering of 2 seniors in an advanced biology class that needed to graduate. So, so yeah, speaking towards that flexibility, I mean, that, you're 50% of the class showing up, right? So, cool. So Cordelia is asking, are the co-ed bathrooms manageable? We'll refer to you guys on that one.
I mean, I would say so.
Yes.
I would say people generally are clean and respectful towards one another.
Mhm.
Never seen anybody naked in the all-gender bathroom. Yeah, I had generally pretty positive experience. The showers are clean. The toilets are usually flushed. Usually. Sometimes people do interesting things that we can't explain. But yeah, generally, I would say the bathrooms are pretty clean and well maintained.
I agree with that. And just to go back to like the idea that people are respectful, people, are very mindful of boundaries and stuff. I think that's just something that Goucher kind of specifically aims to foster in people. It's very highly emphasized to, respect each other's boundaries and things like that. So once you get into, the bathroom situation, not that there would be really any time because you have private changing stalls, you have, even in the Future Village, on each floor, there is also a private single bathroom
That's
that
right.
locks.
That's right.
If it really is that big of a deal. But I mean, yeah, this is my second year living in the First Year Village, and I've not encountered an issue so far. So that's a good track record.
Yeah, something I've heard students telling me from tours of the First Year Village is that they usually don't even run into other people in those
Yeah.
bathrooms as well because of the how many people ratio to the bathroom there. So that's a good one for the First Year Village at least. Great. The next up here, we're asked what type of activities are held on campus. Could go on and on and on about that.
Yeah.
We can start by, have you guys been to anything lately? I know you were mentioning something this evening, but
Yeah.
but otherwise, have you been to something last semester?
Last semester, I went to a haunted forest.
Yeah.
Oh,
Field of Streams.
Oh, I heard about that.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could do that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So, and that is organized by the student engagement team, SET. So in terms of what kind of activities are held on campus, there are things organized by groups like SET and Goucher Student Government. There's things organized by clubs. There's things organized by just people who are interested in, having a Super Smash Brothers tournament in one of the common rooms and things like that. So there's a pretty wide array of activities and a lot of different people organizing. But yeah, fill the screens for sure. If you come here, it's a yearly tradition.
I didn't know that was every.
Yeah, and it's pretty solid. So.
Yeah. And something that's unique to Goucher is we have the human versus zombie
I was
club.
going to bring it up if you
Yeah,
didn't, so I'm glad. Okay.
those
Yeah.
are absolutely
That's
so
my
much fun. Yeah. So the idea is pretty self-explanatory. There's a zombie, and they're out trying to get everybody with a Nerf gun, and whoever the Nerf gun lands on becomes a zombie, and try to hunt down humans.
Uh-huh.
And this is absolutely voluntary. If you're playing,
Right.
I think you wear some type of bandana, some
Yeah.
type of identification. But yeah, at the end, the goal is for zombie is to infect every human,
Mhm.
and the human's goal is to avoid being infected. And I think this goes on for like 2 weeks.
Yeah. I think it's
I think the survival mode's 3 days, right? But they have games through two
Right,
weeks or
right,
something.
right.
So
Yeah,
it's a 3-day Nerf gun fight.
and
basically.
it's very intense because
Oh,
it
it
happens
is. Yeah.
anytime, anywhere.
Mhm.
Well, I believe the academic buildings are off limits, but
Yes.
so are the classrooms. But you
Uh-huh.
can be just walking down a meter to get into the dining hall, and somebody will just boop, pop you
Yeah.
with their Nerf gun, and then
Yeah.
bam, you're a zombie.
Yeah.
But it's very intense and very enjoyable.
Yeah. I'd also like to throw Gig up there.
Yeah,
Gig is a big one.
Gig is Get Into Goucher
Yeah.
Day, and it's just this yearly thing. It's held on a Friday. Classes, I think, afternoon.
Yeah,
are
yeah,
canceled.
Yeah, 12 o'clock.
And there's like live music all day. There's food trucks. There was a mechanical bull last year.
Yep.
Yeah, there've been like bouncy houses and stuff like that. It's just kind of this like campus-wide party, basically, that is fully sanctioned by the school. I mean, they cancel classes.
Yeah.
So
And
That's fun for the staff too. I go there.
Yeah.
Definitely.
yeah, and we also have gala, which
Oh.
is gala. It's very much like prom, but I would say it's more magical because you're
More magical.
yeah, because you're hanging out with your friends, you're dressing up, you guys are going to like a party, looking fancy and dancing and feeling good about yourself. Last year, I believe it was held on a boat in the inner harbor.
that was last year.
Yeah, that was last
Okay,
year.
yeah.
Yeah, and this year we had it in a hotel nearby.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
yeah, I hear people had a lot of fun both years, and
Very
there's
fancy event.
very fancy, but definitely worth going.
Awesome. So yeah, and it's also a mix, I would say, of different clubs.
Mhm.
Pick up soccer or basketball, changing season to season, sometimes rugby, things like that as well. So great question. Next we have, do you find yourself constantly doing schoolwork or do you have a fair amount of time off? That's fair.
I mean, I think even going back to that question we had, near the beginning of scheduling,
Right.
Mhm.
I mean, it's really up to you, I mean, I'm the kind of person that does take like a pretty heavy course load. I really enjoy it. But I have that agency within my schedule to, I mean, for example, even this week, like, my Mondays and Tuesdays are really busy and I know that, but it's good because I get to relax like the rest of the week. So yeah, I guess short answer is no, I don't spend all my time doing schoolwork, and I do have a fair amount of time for my hobbies, for hanging out with friends and stuff. But just because you do have so much agency in your schedule, it's really easy to do what you like.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with you. I've been taking 18 credits every single semester
Yeah.
since I've been here. That's the maximum amount of credit you can take without petitioning for it. And I don't really find myself being overwhelmed with work. But yeah, I would really say that it's really heavily depending on you and what type of person you are. Are you able to handle a lot of classes and heavy workload? But no. The short answer is no, same as Evan. I have plenty of time to hang out with my friends. I probably hang out with my friends too much. Yeah, I would like to think so. But
Sure.
yeah, I generally am not stressed about schoolwork.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, because this is a type of school where the community basis really is a form of learning as well. So we don't want you to be in class 24/7. We want you to be involved. And again, you have some autonomy about how much you want to do that as well. Great. Next, Chloe's asking, in terms of getting financial aid, how has that experience been? I can say just from the administration point of view, we touched on this earlier, but applying to Goucher, if you're admitted, you'll automatically be assessed for merit scholarship. You don't have to go seeking that out on our website or anything. That will be returned to you with your admissions decision. And then if it applies to you, the FAFSA, you just turn that in. We don't have our own separate profiles, just the FAFSA, so your application and the FAFSA, and you'll automatically receive all your financial aid back in one lump upon your admission. But for your experience, how did that go?
Yeah, as I mentioned before, I'm an international student, and I was very surprised and happy that I got merit scholarship from Goucher, and and I also did receive some financial aid later on when I appealed to the financial aid office. So they're super flexible with it, and if you do communicate with them, they will definitely help you to work something out. And my friend had similar experience with financial aid as well, and she received a tremendous amount of support that she's able to stay here.
Yeah, they don't. I mean, it's made it way more accessible for me to get an education, and they work with you, very transparent, and very, very great at communicating. So it's been good.
Yeah, I'm glad you gave credit to our financial aid staff because they're really great about going over. Sometimes it's hard to figure out what you need to do with the documents, so you can call them up and they can look up your particular application and go over that. So there's usually always a conversation to be had at least at a school like this. Yeah. Next, students asking, I come from a very whitewashed community. How racially diverse would you say the campus is?
I would like to take this one. Goucher has a growing amount of students of color population. I believe the statistic in our class is about 40%. Correct me if I'm wrong. And this number is constantly growing. And I'm really, really happy to see more students of color on campus. And Goucher's Center of Social Justice really fostered the environment of welcoming more students of color in. And we do have programs that outreach to students of color, specifically students from marginalized community. And being a person of color on this campus has been nothing but awesome. And I've met people from all types of culture background, and they all have great things to say about the community, about how accepting it is, and about all the possibilities they have had here.
Yeah,
Definitely. Yeah, so I think you're mentioning some resources like CREA, or Center for Race,
Yes,
Equity, and
absolutely.
Identity is a great one for students who identify as students of color to go have those experiences. I would say, again, from the staff side, a lot of colleges advertise diversity in their brochures, and that's kind of a buzzword. So I always encourage students to try to come to campus and, again, just walk around, take a tour, talk to people as they go, and they can see that for themselves. But every college is going to at least say diversity on their banners. So you got to go look into it for yourself. Joy Van's asking, what is it like living in Towson?
Hey, Joy. It's my sister.
Oh, no. Okay, I was wondering.
Yeah. Towson's great. It's a really happening community. We're here with Towson University, which is a state school of a little over 20,000, I think. I forget the exact number, but so it's a very collegey town. It's a very young town. It's a mile to however much from
walkable.
It's walkable to get to the downtown area, and it's right next to where the city of Baltimore proper pretty much starts. So it's situated in a really great place, and even beyond Baltimore. I mean, it's 2 hours from Philadelphia. It's
1 hour from DC.
1 hour to DC, a bus ride to New York. You're in proximity with a lot of great places.
Yeah, and we are very, very close to a mall. We can literally
Yes.
walk from here to the mall in under 10 minutes. And I have done that many times because
Oh,
I really love the Chinese food place and the food court in the mall. So yeah, I've been doing that between classes. And Target and Walmart, so these
Yeah.
huge shopping supermarkets are super close. And yeah, you can pretty much run into Goucher students in Target all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a lot of, things for simple things like grocery shopping. So I'm on Trader Joe's now. I just want to
Yeah,
shout out
Trader Joe's is
for
great.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really easy to live here as a college student because there are, tens of thousands of other college students living here. So,
Exactly.
And I'm usually asked, do you need a car to get around? You can have a car on campus as a first year. It's only, I believe, $70 a year, somewhere in that ballpark.
Yeah.
But I would say, again, it's very walkable. I don't know if that's been your experience for what you need to have for your dorms. Yep. Great. Lena's asking, how is Goucher's connection to Towson in relation to community service and internships? Great. So I guess I would extend that to Baltimore as well, because a lot of our partnerships are going beyond the Towson community, but into Baltimore, a major American city right next door. Have you guys been involved with that, or do you have friends who are in community-based learning? Or
Yeah.
anything? Yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, this is not exactly community-based learning, but I wanted to talk about GPED, Goucher
Yeah.
Prison Education Partnership. So it's a program that Goucher operates in a penitentiary of maybe 20 minutes, 40 minutes away from here, that we offer the incarcerated students an opportunity to obtain a college degree, which is super awesome because there have been, do correct me if I'm wrong, like more than 100 students who have graduated from the program throughout the
Yeah,
year.
it's been growing over the last few years. I think they just had a class of the first graduates recently. since
Oh,
they started.
okay, I see. But yeah, it's really awesome because students can get involved in these programs too. So it's not just something that professors go and do. Students are recruited for Spanish tutoring, math tutoring, I believe some writing courses as well. And it's a really great opportunity, not just for the incarcerated students, but as well as students on campus, for them to get out of this little bubble, the Goucher bubble, and to explore more and learn the students who are in a very different situation and learn about their experience.
And beyond that, we have the Office of Community-Based Learning, which coordinates different social programs in, urban farming and transitional housing. A lot of different programs ran, in the Baltimore area and here in Towson. So,
Great. Going forward, Lyra's asking, what is the pre-law track like at Goucher? Now, I don't know if either of you have any familiarity with that at all, but that's a concentration we offer legal studies, where the goal isn't just to produce lawyers, but it's really, also we try to incorporate a lot of the interdisciplinary things we've been talking about all night, where, it's going to draw from things like ethics, business law, there's a lot of societal classes in there and civics. We actually have partnerships for classes with the University of Baltimore downtown. So students can go the full route to get, into law school, but I wouldn't want you to think it's just that siloed track. That's not really how we do things in the liberal arts world, right? But that's the legal studies concentration is what we carry for that. Next question we have, how much of Goucher's classes are discussion-based? That's a really good one. So yeah, you guys can go off with your experiences.
Just because of my majoring, they're all in the humanities field. A lot of my classes are discussions based.
Yes.
Yeah. Even starting the first semester as well, I've been taking pretty much all of my classes except for the few fundamental ones in economics. They have all been discussion based, and the professors here really do encourage students to express their opinions. A lot of our classrooms are set up in a way that students and professors sit in a circle and we do face one another, instead of just having the lecturer being on the front and the students reciprocating, receiving the information instead of, being able to apply it. So yeah, I do really do appreciate that. Yeah, but I would say that also largely depends on your major. I don't have a lot of experience on this, but I would like to think that STEM students maybe have a little bit less maneuver when it comes to discussion-based classes. I don't know if has been your experience?
I mean, you know, they have labs, which is
Right.
kind of a different
Right.
collaborative process.
Mhm.
You know, I mean, that's just kind of a difference with STEM versus the humanities. But yeah, what I really like about it is that either way, it assumes that, you know, you are responsible enough and, you know, on top of it, enough to do what you need to do for class, do the reading, do the research, and then really, you know, the fun part about learning is bringing it together with other people who may have totally different ideas about it, and that's good.
Yeah, because you don't want to waste time just taking notes or go over the material in class. You want to use class for the breakdown and analysis. So.
Right.
Great. Yeah. The last question we have for the evening, why should I attend Goucher College for the next 4 years? Yeah.
I think it's really rare that there are educational institutions that are so dedicated on building you up personally. I mean, this isn't a school where you're just going to come and, you know, by the end of 4 years, you will be able to spit out like the longest list of facts anybody's ever heard. I mean, you know, between study abroad, between the CPEs, what it does is try and build you as a person and try and help you find your own identity. And I think that's something really special about Goucher that maybe not everywhere is like.
And at Goucher, you're not really just a number. You are a whole human being. You're a part of the community, and we do feel we do feel responsible for one another. And I do really appreciate your answer of building you up as a person, because I have pretty much transformed since I've gotten here from high school, and Goucher has really built me up, built my character up, and I have had a tremendous amount of opportunities to grow, to get involved, and to put myself forward, to push myself out of the comfort zone. And yeah, I don't think this is some opportunities you can get anywhere. And yeah, and I did think about the fact that Goucher, before I came in, I did think about the fact that Goucher is a smaller school, which means that, you know, students will receive more individual attention, and when I came here, it proves to be that it was much more than that. And yeah, Goucher was really able to bring the best of me out. And yeah, I will say that Goucher is a great place if you are looking for personal growth and if you're looking to flourish.
Well said.
Thank you.
So those are all the questions we have for this evening. Next steps for your college search, you're welcome to visit campus. That's something we've been saying kind of through the whole time is we can talk to you about this all night, but we'd really love for you to have your own experience on campus. So we have daily visits Monday through Friday, some Saturdays, some Sundays in the spring. You can check the calendar. I just go on Google, you can type in Goucher College Visit Campus, it pops right up, and you can actually schedule everything you want on your own, whether that be meeting with a professor, shadowing a class, talking to our students. We'd like to connect you. We have some Goucher Bound events in mid-March where we're coming out to you, and we can talk to you more about your individual interests for college. So all dates and registrations are on the website. We've got those Gopher Days for a big admitted students program, Monday, March 30th, Monday, April 13th, and then Saturday, April 18th as well. So that's kind of a one and done, everything under one package coming to campus. And if you're ready to commit to Goucher, you can do so through our application portal. If you're not there yet, let us know what more you need to get for a decision. You can email us, text us, call, come in person. We're going to have a couple more of these Ask Me Anything programs coming up this spring as well. One will be Tuesday, March 24th at 9, and the next will be April 23rd at 9 as well. And the big date is May 1st. That's the day to enroll. So don't wait until the evening before. You can talk to us and we can help you with any bumps in the road for that. So reach out. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.